Just like it says on the cover, not for children. What is up? I be that Sequential Geek. Welcome to the Sequential Hood. I am acclimating to the altitude and the climate of the Mile High City. I just relocated about 2 weeks ago over to Denver. Luckily, you can do no wrong at these comic book shops in this area. I did a vid at Mutiny Information Cafe, and I was also at Mile High Comics. Went to a couple other comic book shops after that. The last one I was at is just south of Denver in Parker, Colorado. Hall of Justice, Comics and Collectibles. Once again, the back issue selection at these shops. This place does not disappoint. Customer service, once again, great. So I wanted to start off this haul mentioning a couple things. First of all, what's up with this first appearance of Faust here? Was saying Rebel Edition and Volume 2 on the price tag. It's a near mint copy I got for $4. Faust, if you know, it's a precursor to Spawn, some might say. Just very general background. This guy makes a deal with the devil, with the demon, comes back, and raises hell on earth. It's unstoppable. As you can see, he's got these two talons right there. Tim Vigil does the covers, paints the covers, does the interior artwork. David Quinn is the writer. So when I got this, I know that when Faust first came out, and cover date is January 1988, so basically it came out at the end of 1987. And the story arc is called Love of the Damned. Different cover, and it's under the publishing company North Star Publishing, North Star Press. Right there, it's got Volume 2. So why is that? I also wanted to go over the process that I went through finding this out. Maybe some of you other collectors out there, some of you other geeks, go through these same websites, and then you find out a better one, right? So check it out. It's from wikipedia.org. Here's Tim Vigil on a video that I did like a year ago when I was at the Monroe Comic-Con, Michigan. Tim Vigil, James O'Barr, and some other cats were representing the Caliber Comics publishing company. They're in a panel there. Tim Vigil did this female version of the Crow. It's a really cool drawing that I got from him from like a year ago. Here's a picture of him from 2016. Real quick, Timothy B. Vigil is an American comic book artist, mostly working in the horror adult genre. His main graphic novel, Faust, with co-creator David Quinn, was adapted by Brian Yuzna as a 2001 movie, Faust, Love of the Damned. So usually I like to start off looking up information at Comic Vine, comicvine.gamespot.com. They got a great method of displaying information. I like the way they show all the covers. So I started off looking at Faust, Love of the Damned. And we got, how many here? 15 issues. And it's saying North Star, started in 1991. Okay. So I click on issue number 1. This is from North Star now, not the Rebel edition that I got, that I just showed you. Here's Faust number 1. There's the North Star logo. Okay. January 1st, 1988. So that meant it came out like end of 87. Here's the Rebel edition. I'm still not sure where this is coming from. Faust, Love of the Damned is 15 issues altogether. Turned out it took like 20 years for them to complete the run. Whatever. They had some delays. One of them has to do with this movie, I think around 1996. The writer, David Quinn, completed a screenplay, or he started working with producers on creating this movie that got made. It says Faust, Love of the Damned is a 2000 American English language Spanish superhero horror film directed by Brian Usner, adapted from a screenplay by David Quinn and Miguel Tejada Flores, if I'm pronouncing that right. Then I go over to My Comic Shop, and I know ETA Nick, that YouTube channel, he has a lot of information on selling. He'll reference Heritage and another one I can't think of at the moment. It's like Comic Link. And My Comic Shop, I'll recommend. It's a great place to sell, to buy, get deals. It has a great array of covers that they list as well, with information on who does the cover and the interiors and so forth. I'm realizing that a lot of information you can find on one site, on Comic Find. You can't find some information on Comic Find. I can find it over here on My Comic Shop. Here's the first cover, right? That's the North Star cover. Then they show issue, the B cover, so to speak, the Rebel edition, all right? You got issue 2, no Rebel edition listed. Issue 3, it's saying first printing, but it's the Rebel edition. All right, so here we got our 15 covers. Issue number 1, the Rebel edition, January 1988. Here's issue number 3. Now here's the North Star cover. And then here's the one that they only showed at mycomicshop.com. Whatever, you know, they do the best that they can, right? I'm just showing you this is the process I was going through, trying to find out what's up with this Rebel edition. Okay. Here's number 2, by the way. 2/3 of the cover, you can kind of pull back, that black panel. And then that's North Star. And then this is the Rebel edition, which I can only show like up to like there. The rest of it you probably would find in an issue of Penthouse maybe, but Vigil is known for doing some really amazingly beautiful, erotic, and violent artwork. Issue number 6, the North Star cover. And the Rebel edition. So I find out on comics.org, I find this Grand Comics database. It's an amazing resource that you can get down a rabbit hole looking for information here. It's awesome. I love it. I did a search for Faust. They're listing stuff in other languages. So we got 2 options right here, North Star and Rebel Studios. What do I got up over here? Okay, there's Rebel Studios, North Star. So I clicked on North Star at comics.org, Grand Comics database, and it shows 6 issues. All the original covers, okay? When David Quinn and Tim Vigil created Faust, you got these first initial 6 issues that Tim Vigil painted, did the interior art under the North Star publishing label. All right. Rebel Studios. Rebel Studios right here indicates, though the first publication from Rebel Studios came out in 1987, the second wouldn't be released until 1991 when David Quinn and Tim Vigil took over the publishing of their creation, Faust, from North Star. Okay, so the first 6 issues, where under North Star Publishing, they got these covers. So the first 6 issues have 2 covers. The remaining 7 through 15, the Rebel Studios took over and they did the remaining covers. One of the amazing things that you got here at comics.org is you can get a timeline. This is the list of the issues and when they came out. I can click here, see series detail by issue, and it makes it a lot more easier to read. As you can see, the Rebel editions are coming out in 1992. But like I said, there's so much more information that I could just keep going over. But my point is from what I find, you've got an A cover, so to speak, which is the North Star cover of FAUST. And then after 1991, when David Quinn, the writer, and Tim Vigil, the artist, took their character FAUST and began publishing it through Rebel Studios, they created their own covers. They created their Rebel Edition covers for the first 6, and then took over doing their own covers, just single covers. Hey, let's wrap up this FAUST deal over at Hall of Justice Comics. I got 3 FAUST comics. Here's the Rebel Edition #1, which came out in 1992. Here, the next 2, this is the North Star publication of issue #2, which came out in 1989. And here's #6. This came out in the North Star publication in 1990. The Rebel Edition of 2 and 6 came out in like 1992, 93. A double cover. Some graphic content here. Real quick, I just wanted to point out FAUST by David Quinn and Tim Vigil is not related to Grips. A couple years before, I'm getting mixed dates, around 1986, Tim Vigil created Grips with Chris Silver. Christoph Silver has this publishing label, Silver Wolf. This lasted for 4 issues. Violent, urban, vigilante comic. Tim Vigil co-created. I just wanted to point out real quick, it's not related to FAUST. Next comic I got is Fell. The significance of this comic is basically creators making an effort to improve something. Hey, this is a $1.99 US comic. At the time, comics were reaching $3. Check it out. An affordable comic. This is a publication date of September 2005. Ran until publication date January of 2008, ran for 9 issues. Fell is an experiment by Warren Ellis in order to create a more affordable comic by producing a lower page count than normal. This is balanced by a 9-panel grid format for each page in order to compress the story into a smaller size. So it's got 16 pages with no ads and then some extra pages like a backup, like interviews, behind the scenes commentary. Got that for $3. Batman Deathblow, it's a 3-issue limited series. It's the 3rd issue. I didn't have the first 2. Writer Brian Azzarello, artist Lieber Mail, they both collaborated together on that Joker story. It came out a few years ago. Deathblow, an interesting character. It says here this story is Batman's picking up the pieces from a decade-old case file of deceased government agent Michael Cray, also known as Deathblow. This is from Comic Vine. They go on to say, Deathblow is a hero from the Wildstorm universe. Initially thought to be the only member of Team 7 without Gen Factor powers, it was recently discovered that one of his Gen Active abilities is immortality. So he can be shot up, cut up, blown up. He'll still come back. He's going to come back and get you $5. I paid for that. So in 1983, I got introduced to my favorite comic book series, The New Mutants, written by Chris Claremont, art initially by Bob McLeod. This particular issue right here is February cover date 1985, art by Bill Sienkiewicz, and yes, written by Chris Claremont. $4. Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Direct edition, okay, without the barcode, right? Those go straight to the comic book shops. So before 1984, if something is direct edition, wouldn't that make it more rare than a newsstand? If it's 84 or later, then a direct edition is no longer rare. Newsstands become harder to find. Post 1983, is that accurate? Somebody clue me in on that. Got that for $4. First appearance of Amara, also known as the New Mutant Magma. This is taking place in the Amazon. Sunspot's mom is an archaeologist. Of course, the New Mutants come along with, because the jungle would be a great danger room practice, right? They find this secluded civilization that's been stuck in, as you could say, in like the days of the Roman Empire. They call it Nova Roma. One of the princesses, Amara, is the mutant Magma. And issue number 9 is the first appearance of Selene. She is a mutant that can absorb people's life force. I believe she ends up being a member of the Hellfire Club. First appearance of Warpath. We got the New Mutants going up against the Hellions. It's the Hellfire Club's version of the New Mutants. Alright, this is actually a new comic. This is Rock and Roll Biographies, issue number 16 on Sublime. And that cover artist is MC Lovecraft. What do we got there? I believe that's Eric Wilson, Floyd Bud Gao. I can't get that last name right. That's on the far right. And in the middle, I got that right, is the lead singer, Bradley Nowell. And guitarist. Lobo, Blazing Chain of Love. Keith Giffen did the script and the pencils. Interior. Daredevil 174, newsstand. Got this for $30. This is the first appearance of the Hand. This hit stands on May 26th, 1981. First time Daredevil meets Power Man and Iron Fist. This hit the stands on September 22nd, 1981. Got that for $25. Frank Miller does the pencils. Klaus Johnson does the inks. Written and drawn by Frank Miller. Daredevil 16. I bought it for $16. Issue number 179. Frank Miller, Klaus Janson on inks. Frank Miller does the scripts and pencils. October 27th, 1981. That baby hit the stands. Another Frank Miller, written and drawn. Klaus Janson did the inks. Hit the stands here in February 23rd, 1982. And I actually got this for $12. There's no price tag on it, but Daredevil, the Man Without Fear, issue number 254. First appearance of Typhoid Mary. Pencils by John Romita. Inks by Al Williamson. And that script is by Ann Nesenti. All right. Let's wrap this up. Got this for $3. This was on sale 1986. It's the on sale date. Don't have any information on when it hit the stands directly. It's an issue where Captain America uses a gun, apparently accidentally. I haven't read this story since it came out. Got that for $3. Fantastic Four, number 249, on sale date. Hit the stands on September 14th, 1982. John Byrne, artwork and story. The guy on the cover, he is named Kallark, Kallark. He is part of the Share Imperial Guard, and he pretty much do anything that he can focus his mind on. I know that in that Marvel Universe comic, when they were doing the synopsises and all the characters, I think it was Reed Richards that deduced that because this guy can lift up a building just by grabbing the corner of the building without that whole corner just ripping off, he's able to keep the whole building together. There's some form of like telekinesis that this guy is employing when he uses his powers, his abilities, whatever. He can, lift buildings that defy the laws of physics, so to speak, so there's some reason for that. He's willing things to happen. Fantastic Four, number 280. What is the big deal with this comic, huh? The big deal with this comic is that I know that Hate Monger and I think Puppet Master got together and manipulated the mind of Sue Storm, and she became this really hot, badass villain called Malice. And they didn't know who she was at first. In the second issue, 281, Daredevil ends up, because he has his like radar abilities, he can kind of see the fields that are being generated by Malice, and then Reed Richards realizes that it's Sue Storm. Marvel Comics presents Weapon X. This is the second part in the Barry Windsor Smith story of how Logan got the adamantium fused onto his skeleton, how he was kidnapped and experimented on. This came out, just hit the stands on February 5th, 1991. Art and story by Barry Windsor Smith. Right here, I got this for $8, by the way. I don't know if you can see that CC right there. If you see that, it's going to have the newsstand on the back of. If you don't see the newsstand on the front, chances are you're going to see it there, right there. So you know it's a newsstand, not a direct. It's one good way to tell. It stands for something like Curtis Company. I got to look that up, but it was one of the shipping companies that had newsstands. It's a great giveaway for figuring out if something's newsstand or direct. Got that for $8. Black Panther, number 52. Excuse me, Marvel Premiere, number 52, featuring Black Panther. This was a three-part story. The first part was in issue 51. Al Milgrom did the cover. Issue 53, Frank Miller did the cover. And this cover, I believe, is done by Bud Badansky. Inks by Steve Leialoha. Excuse me, Leialoha. Steve Leialoha. Don't have a date when this actually hit the stands. Cover date is February 1980. As you can see with the slash through the barcode, that is a direct edition. Given the date, direct would definitely be more rare than newsstand. Got this very fine near mint copy for $10. Marvels, Alec Ross. This came out in 1994. So you've got 4 issues. It's like kind of like from a civilian's point of view, from a regular normie's point of view, just the experiences that a regular person would have, as realistic as possible to the emergence of people with abilities, with powers, mutants, superheroes, so forth. If anyone's new to Marvel, I would recommend reading Marvels. It's a great form of literature. Alex Ross is the artist. Kurt Busiek is the writer. Cover date January 1st, 1994. Got that for $8. Dazzler. Comics.org is telling me the on sale date. This hit the stands physically on March 1st, 1983. That is Bill Sienkiewicz cover. Who did the interiors? The script is by Frank Springer, pencils by Frank Springer, interior, and the cover, and the interior inks is Vince Coletta. But that cover, pencils, inks, colors, that's all Bill Sienkiewicz. Came out in 83. Following issue. Once again, Bill Sienkiewicz, pencils, inks, colors on that cover. Frank Springer doing the script. Got some early appearance of Rogue in these issues. Dazzler. Check it out. Mike Mignola cover of Aliens vs. Predator. It's a Dark Horse publication, came out in 1990. This is the issue 0. Hey, you know how like an issue 0 doesn't always come out before issue number 1? At comics.org, okay, here's the graphic novel, the trade paperback of all issues of Alien vs. Predator from 1990 collected. And then right here, they can show you the order that they came out, right? So you got 1, then 0, 2, 3, and 4. Green, I guess it's indexed, partially indexed, right? They're going over and how they do their checks and balances. Issue 0. Publisher Dark Horse Comics. You got a July 1990 cover date. Pencils by Mike Mignola, inks on the cover. Interior script is Randy Stradley, pencils Phil Norwood. And then issue number 1 is June 1990. So we got issue 0 coming out right after issue 1. See, this comics.org. I love these links. It's great reference material. This Aliens vs. Predator 0 I got for $12, near mint. My last issue I picked up over at Hall of Justice is this $5 copy of Marvel Milestone Edition. It's a reprint of X-Men number 9 from 1965. The first meeting of X-Men and the Avengers. First encounter that they had. There's a CBR article. I'm not going to lift the camera up and go over to it right now, but it came out August 11th, 2019 by Brian Cronin, where he goes over some of the details that led up to that. For example, in Tales of Suspense, issue number 49, Steve Ditko did the art by Stan Lee and Paul Reinman. Iron Man had actually encountered the X-Men individually, but this is the first full meetup of the X-Men and the Avengers. This reprint, I decided to get that. The Marvel Milestone Edition comics are getting more and more rare, and to get them in near mint condition is super difficult. So be careful with your comics. I had dropped some of my comics when I was getting them out of my car. And I don't know if you noticed, but 4 of my comics got damaged slightly. Got a little dent right there. And this guy took the blunt of the... I'm glad I already have a copy of this. Got a slight bend there. If you can tell, the corner got bent. Hello. This one, slight bent right there and there. I was kicking myself so hard. And we got a slight, very, very slight bent right there. The boards did absorb the impact. The rest of the comics were fine. Thank God. But shit happens. Nobody's perfect. You know, I'm sure a lot of you watching are like, good. Keeps my copies in great condition more rare. You're right. And thank you very much for watching. I've had a hell of a past 2 weeks. As you can see, I refer over to like comicvine.com or comics.org or Wikipedia to cite information. Just is making it easier, helps the flow move along. That's my haul. Thanks a lot for watching. I be that Sequential Geek. Thank you for swinging by the Sequential Hood here. I hope you get to know some comics. Check out the best YouTube channels that you like. Let me know of anything that I missed. Any feedback that you have always would be appreciated. Thank you for watching. Peace.